Welcome to the channel. You're Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. We're on the road. Just want to keep the awareness of staying fit mentally and physically. You got to make the effort. You don't make the effort, nobody else is going to do it for you. So you have to determine yourself. You have to say to yourself, right, I'm just going to go for a walk up the end of the street and back tomorrow. Right, and you just walk up the end of the street and back. Then you might say to yourself, okay, I'm going to walk up and to the end of the street and back again. You might do that for a week. And what you'll find is you'll incrementally be training yourself to understand the sense of reward after you've done the exercise. You'll begin to get a sense of reward. Oh, I can actually do that. I can actually get up and do that. You know, some people, there's a scripture that says, the lazy man thinks there's a lion on the road, there's a lion in the street. And what that means is they've got psychological fears that stop them from being active. Psychological fears that perpetrate their mind to stop them from being active. And we all have this. It's called laziness. The lazy man says there's a lion in the street, there's a lion in the way. But there is no lion there at all. What you've got to understand is our carnal nature psychologically tries to sabotage us from growing into and becoming what we could actually be. It disenables us. It disencourages us. This is from the inside. It disparages us. It works us against ourselves. So that we think there's things that are out there to stop us and get us that aren't really there. So you might walk to the end of the street and back for a week. And then you might decide to walk around the block. And then the next day you walk to the end of the street and back. You don't have to keep pushing it. You can stay at a minimum as long as you're doing something and build on that. Once you get the sense of reward in your mind, the automatic sense of reward for your effort, then that will motivate you over and above the mentality that plagues all of us, where we think the lazy man says there's a lion in the street, there's a lion in the way, and there isn't one at all. Some people can fear hurting themselves if they do exercise, and if that's the case, seek medical advice. But most doctors will encourage you to stay strong and stay fit, or at least do something, just by way of the way in which the medical system works. They want you to be strong and fit, or at least fit. So there is an influence inside us that does try and make us fear being fit. There is an influence inside us that doesn't want us to be well. There is an influence inside us that wants to hold us back. There is an influence inside us that wants to destroy anything that's good that we're seeking to do. There's an influence inside us that will motivate us to do wrong rather than good. It's called our sinful nature. What I don't understand with a lot of people is they don't seem to understand the consequences of not looking after themselves. And they think they're invincible and that life's going to work out in some way different for them, but it's not. Science and medicine and all that have proven there's certain things that you just shouldn't do if you want longevity of life. And there's certain things that you should do if you want longevity of life. And one of those things is a little bit of exercise, just 20 minutes a day even. You don't have to do 2-3 hours like I do. And if I'm working, that's 8 hours of exercise. Bricklaying's exercise all day. So micro incremental steps, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. 2 steps back can be leading to you moving forward too, you know. Just because you have a little setback doesn't mean that's the end of it. You can keep mentally believing that you'll bounce back. I'll bounce back. I get knocked down, but I get up again. They're never going to keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. They're never going to keep me down. That's the mentality you should have. But in the spirit. In the spirit. Not in forcing yourself. Because once you get the sense of reward for looking after yourself and thinking right and being right and not neglecting and abusing yourself, that's when the rewards come. Automatic rewards. That's when your natural dopamine and things that happen to you from drugs and that reward you. Naturally, without having to take substances and shit and garbage that's going to ruin your life. There is an influence inside us that wants to destroy us. And some people never become aware of it. They never understand those forces that are working within them. And they're looking outside of themselves to find excuses. The lazy man says there's a lion in the way. There's a lion in the street. But there is no lion there at all. That's our sinful nature working against us to stop us from being what we actually can be. And it's the same sinful nature that persuades us to take drugs and to cause us to do harm to ourselves. Drink and all this. I'm never ever going to justify alcohol, drugs, or anything that's not prescribed by the doctor. I'm never going to do that. Ever. It's just not going to happen. So this is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia, encouraging you just a little 1 step at a time. And if you do take 2 steps back, that's not the end. That's a sign that you've made an effort and that you can continue to make an effort. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Be encouraged. Bye for now.